Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to the Mining Journal for inviting us here this year to run through our business model and where we are with our major project. The title of my presentation is Building a Global Strategic Metals Company, and that's what we've been doing for the last 6 years. We intend to produce vanadium pentoxide, titanium pigment, and an iron oxide, all from the one resource. So I'll give you an update of where we are with everything. Just a normal disclaimer. So the concept is simple. We have one mine in a very safe jurisdiction in the Northern Territory of Australia. It's very well located, and we have developed a process that allows us to extract 3 high purity, high valuable commodities from a single source. It's a world scale deposit. It's very large, 160 million tonnes. It's up at the JORC proven at this stage, and previous drilling in the surrounding areas, we know there's a lot more of this type of resource around, probably in excess of 500 million tonnes. It's geologically very advantageous. It's flat-lying, large tabular body of magnetite that contains good grades of vanadium and titanium. It's very shallow. It's just covered by some wind-blown sand, so a strip ratio of less than 1. And it's also very close to existing infrastructure, which gives it a very good chance of being economic. It's also extremely financially robust. These figures are from the definitive feasibility study we did in 2017. It's got a very high IRR of 44% and just under 4 billion Australian NPV. It's very strong because we have 3 commodities that have good pricing, good markets, very transparent, and allows a very robust project. And it also gives a good buffer in times of product pricing volatility. Briefly on the corporate side, we're based in Perth, and we've been an explorer on the ASX for about 30 odd years, one of the successful ones through the difficult times. Number of deposits, number of other companies have floated out of TNG in the past. We've got some very good top shareholders. Some of them recently came on, including the Vimson Group, a very large Indian iron ore conglomerate out of Goa in India. And we believe they'll be their strategic partner for us as well when we go to project financing later this year. We've got about 20 million left in cash and market cap of just under 120 million at this stage. We also have a very experienced global development partner that's been working with us for the last 5 years. It's called the SMS Group. They're a privately owned metallurgical fabricator and specialist builder, particularly in the steel industry. Importantly, they're going to give us a product and process guarantee for the design. They're currently doing the front-end engineering and design, the feed process for us, and then we move into project finance. A superb partner for us to have. We're well located, as I mentioned, in the territory. Everything you see there in the licenses is owned 100% by TNG. This whole mine site is totally cleared now for development. We've got environmental approvals, we have the native title approvals, we have mining licenses granted. Access to the water aquifer is being permitted by us, and all the access roads, the haul roads, everything have all been cleared from the native title perspective. So subject to finance, we're ready to go. The concept is simple. We're going to produce a magnetite concentrate at site and then transport that concentrate up to Darwin, where we intend to have the process plants that we've designed and developed. Very simple mining operation for this type. It's open cut, obviously, very shallow deposit. And all we're interested in is the magnetite, so we crush, grind, and magnetically separate to take out the magnetite. The downstream process is where this project really becomes alive, and that allows us to add significant value to what is really a fairly mundane resource of this nature. It's called Taiwan, and it's a trademark that we own. It's a process that we developed over the last 5 or 6 years with our metallurgical group consultants. It allows us to take this type of ore body and process it through a different way to all the other processes that are out there at the moment taking vanadium in. So these types of resources are traditionally mined for vanadium only, and that's usually through a pyrometallurgical process. They are very costly, and you only take out the vanadium, you lose the vanadium, the titanium, and the iron. When we discovered this ore body ourselves, we wanted to extract maximum value, so we went through a process of tests with our metallurgical groups, and we've designed a process that allows us to extract all three of them using a hydrometallurgical process. So it's through an acid, and that allows us to selectively extract each single commodity in very high purities and at costs that keep us probably within the lowest cost producer globally. The Northern Territory Government has afforded us major project status. They've given us some land, or they've exclusively provided some land to us about 10 kilometres from the port of Darwin. It allows us to put our process plant there right by the railway, so we can put 1,100 kilometres of railway between the two mine site and our sorry, I think it's my mobile phone. It's Oops. So put our process facility there. There's 200 acres. We only need 100, so plenty of room for expansion. And as I say, it's on the railway line, and we can only 10 kilometres from the port. The products, as I mentioned, 3 products from one single commodity source: titanium dioxide pigment. All of these products that we're producing are not mainstream minerals that everyone's used to, but they are in everyday use. So as the population grows, these types of commodities become more and more in demand. So there's solid markets for these, solid growth expectations, and a very, very, very good product mix for us. The very interesting thing about, I'm sorry about the slides where it's gone over. I'm not quite sure why that's happened, but what we found with our titanium is that when the concentrate is processed through our process plant called Taiwan, it comes out in a very unique fashion. Most stocks that are used for the titanium pigment industry are usually like ilmenites or slags, and the biggest problem they have there is an iron content. If a little bit of iron goes through into the sulfate process, you won't get the clear whites. You'll get a yellowish tinge, and you won't get a good product. So a lot of the refining process in a sulfate and chloride pigment plants is to do with washing out all of the impurities to get a very nice clean grain to coat. As you can see there, I've highlighted that when it comes out of Taiwan, because we're taking out the iron already, we've got a unique feedstock, less than just over 2% of iron. It allows us to really quickly take this through to a very clear product to go down for a pigment production. So by default, we can see that we've unlocked now a new source of feedstock for the titanium industry, and they need that because the ilmenites and the mineral sands are depleting around the world. There isn't a lot of exploration going on to find new sources, and titanium magnetites are not rare. What is rare is to find them close to infrastructure to get them to be economic. But they're not rare. So we believe we found now, by default, using our process, a new feedstock for the titanium pigment industry. And they've recognised that, and there's quite a bit of interest in this. So we've also opted to go for a pigment type called of the coatings, outdoor coatings, which is one of the biggest growth areas, as you can see by this graph here. We've done an offtake agreement with a global group called DKSH, Swiss-based group with over 11 billion US in turnover, 850 offices globally. So a fantastic partner for us on our binding offtake agreement. With the vanadium pentoxide, again, look, we have a firm view on what's going to happen with the vanadium pentoxide. The vanadium market is still going to remain into the steel. Steel industry is going to use a lot more of vanadium as buildings get taller and get replaced. There's a lot more vanadium going into rebar. A lot of alloys coming in now with vanadium as well. But importantly, if you can see at the last column there's a little sneak of red coming in there, which is in the batteries area. And there is no doubt that vanadium redox batteries are a very serious battery, a very serious energy storage battery, and there is a definite demand for them. And there is a definite business model that we have a view on for rolling out these in the future. We heard yesterday that people don't need oil, they don't need gas, they just need electricity, where you always need to be able to charge those electricity items up. These aren't going to replace cars they aren't going to replace small batteries, but the larger batteries for storage where they're connected to solar panels or wind turbines or both, you get a large storage cell here. Now these are from Sumitomo. We've been doing a lot of work with Sumitomo over the last few years. That's vanadium electrolyte, the blue. So we produce that from our own vanadium pentoxide. We have a very clear business model of how these can be rolled out, and it's not by selling these batteries, it's by leasing them. You become a utility provider. A lot of remote communities, particularly in Australia and throughout Asia, could benefit from having a battery there to replace their diesel generators, for example. So we see the outlook for vanadium pentoxide very, very strong. We have an offtake in place for the life of mine of our vanadium pentoxide with a group called Woojin, Korean-based, one of the largest ferrovanadium converters in Asia. Our iron ore product is a bit of a byproduct in a way, but a very high purity one. It comes out at 99.9% pure Fe2O3 and grades about 65%. So a very good one for us to convert to pellets to go into the premium iron ore market. Permitting, as I mentioned, the Mount Peak mine site itself is ready to go. Mine management plan is being evolved and developed as we speak. The process plant site in Darwin is, the environmental surveys is nearly complete, it's underway. We expect the permitting process there to take about another 6 months. And the Mount Peak engineering, the FEED, is underway with the SMS group in Germany. We expect that to take another 6 to 9 months. So end of this year, first quarter of next year, we expect that'll be completed. On completion of that, they will provide to us a turnkey fixed price EPC contract. They will be doing the EPC. They're going to give us the process and product guarantees. And at that stage, we will know what the final CapEx figure will be. At the moment, we've awarded a mandate to a German bank, the KfW IPEX Bank, to raise up to $600 million US on the debt side. We don't expect it to be as much as that. We expect there to be probably $100 or $200 million in equity, Australian, that is, equity for us to raise. Now, our equity funding options are numerous, and one of them actually is to do a secondary listing here in combination with other things. We're also interested in strategic investors, and as I mentioned, one of our major shareholders now has come on for just that reason, and also our offtake partners. So there's a number of milestones that we've completed there to show you how advanced this project is and how close we are to production. We believe that over the next year we should be able to complete all those items remaining down at the bottom there, which would put us into a final investment decision from the board in the second quarter of next year. And subject to finance, we could then commence construction, particularly at the mine site, and be in production then 2022. Thank you very much for your attention, and we're happy to answer any questions over at the booth.